send it out to you.
All right, Fitzgibbon, thank you very much. The heavy hitters are here. Cosmo Macero of O'Neill & Associates. Peter Kadgis of the Boston Phoenix. We'll talk Arizona in a second, fellas. First, Cosmo, you're a season ticket holder. Pats, Jets, the way it was supposed to be.
I'm looking for another beatdown, just like Monday night. That's what I'm looking for. It's going to be a big game. I'm excited. I don't see how the Jets come into Foxborough and beat the Patriots. I will say, I didn't see them going into Indianapolis and beating the Colts. But no less than Peyton Manning himself sort of predicted that he was the worst team this year.
You just said how they beat the Colts. So Peyton Manning. That's how they beat him. Peyton Manning's terrible in the playoffs.
Yeah. So I think I just don't. I see a repeat of Monday night.
I don't disagree with anything Cosmo said, but we should look at his track record for prediction.
That's a problem. That is a problem. The fact that he just said that makes me nervous.
I broke that
It's
streak.
like you're like 2-12.
I broke that streak.
You had Baker in a landslide. Is Rex Ryan overshadowing this game, and does that bother you if he is?
At this point, I think he feels he has to fulfill that space. He's like the Howard Stern of NFL coaches. What's he going to say next? So he's fulfilling that role. Is that a way to get? Does his team need that to get up for the game? Maybe. I know one thing: you can't get the Patriots.
You mean sort of like Viagra?
More up for the game than they already are. They're a machine. They go in there. There's not going to be a letdown. I'm not sure what the purpose is, but I think he feels he needs to just.
Does it bother you, or are you amused by it?
I'm slightly amused because I want to see what he says next. But he's a blowhard. He's a great defensive mind. Hey. He is. He's a great defensive
We'll
coach.
find out this week. We'll find out. You amused by him, Peter? You entertained by him? You want him to go away?
Both. I don't like big mouths in sports. And this cult of the coach, it's supposed to be about the team. I can take him or leave him.
So here's your exit question. The mayor, of course, giving his State of the City address tonight. Never mind what he's obviously going to say. Two-part question. Should the mayor make a reference to Rex Ryan? And if so, what should he say, Cosmo?
Why not? I think he ought to. He'll probably get national attention. He probably ought to say something like, all these New Yorkers think Rex is so good he ought to be coach of the year, but he's no shoo-in.
You're repeating it for effect. Thank you.
Of course Menino should say something, and I would suggest he say something like, he's all mouth, no football.
You're working on it, boys. Not the mayor. I see the mayor in the Sports Center top 10 plays if he references Rex in any sort of put-down way.
Got to make the call. He should do it.
I almost forgot my speech. Didn't want to get caught barefoot. Rex Ryan might like
that.
No one else would.
Boom.
One step at a time.
Shoo-in, you said. All right, let's get serious for a second, fellas. Let's head to Arizona and talk politics. Obviously, a horrid situation out there. The only good news is the Congresswoman seems to be hanging in there, and she may actually pull through, which is great. With that being said, it took about 30 minutes before this thing got politicized real fast. What happened? Why did it happen, Cosmo? And what is the point of all that?
Look, I'll concede it's even a logical or reasonable assumption to jump to that, okay, this is some kind of right-wing extremist. Okay, so you jump to that assumption.
Why is that logical?
Hold on.
Why is that logical?
The media does that all the time. Well, assumptions are made like this all the time. And the media jumps to conclusions all the time. So you make that assumption. But you know what? Guess what? It appears to be absolutely wrong. Okay? So at what point do we stop promoting the assumption, which is continuing, and start simply reporting the facts? I guess we can hope that point may be today. They jump to that assumption. They're wrong, yet we're still promoting the assumption. Now, my point here is, do we have to blame all of America, or at least half of America, for this thing? This guy murdered a kid, a child, a couple of elderly people, a 30-year-old aide, and damn near assassinated, allegedly, a congressman. So you know what? Let's blame him, and not the rest of America, or half of America. Let's blame him.
And let's not forget a federal judge, also a judge appointed by a Republican president. Look, in my mind, there's little doubt that by the time this is over, the alleged Arizona shooter we're going to find that he's a paranoid schizophrenic. And there is no causal link, direct or indirect, between him and
that we know of in any political conspiracy. However, it is sort of a teaching moment, and to me, it's very troubling that there are people in the Republican Party who use rhetoric in our devices, such as those crosshairs that. But we've seen already now that the Democrats use the same map.
Hold
Obama
on.
used gun rhetoric all through his election.
Hold on. I'm just saying that I find it interesting and hard to escape the fact that political rhetoric is mimicked, by a paranoid schizophrenic.
Let's have a debate about whether
I'm not saying.
How is it mimicked? I don't see that jump.
Look, I'm perfectly willing to have a debate about whether the Second Amendment is an issue here, but now we're going to debate whether the First Amendment is the problem?
No, this isn't about the Constitution. It's about common sense. We have a political environment with, I think, dangerously overheated rhetoric. That's on one side. On the other side, you have someone I think is a paranoid schizophrenic. They're separate.
Are we not playing into it? I mean, you referenced the Republican rhetoric, but we now know that this has been on all sides. You say it's logical to make the jump that he's a radical right-winger. Is that known that Assassin's a radical right-winger?
No, it's an obvious conclusion that the media would jump. Because that's what the media does. They make that causal link.
Why would they? Was Squeaky Fromme a radical right-winger?
Here's how. It's one of the most common media magic tricks that happens all the time. It's the prior event, then you have elapsed time, and you have this causal link. So, okay, Sarah Palin says we ought to be targeting the Congresswoman for defeat. And then a period of time goes by. It could be a month, it could be 6 weeks, it could be 10 years, doesn't matter. The shootings come just blank 6 weeks after Sarah Palin said the Congresswoman should be targeted.
Wait a second.
We're way out of time. We're way over time.
And there's your link created by the media magic.
Most of the media magic is saying, be careful to draw too close a link between these two things.
Not the first 48 hours.
Exactly. You're right on that point, Cosmo. Cosmo Macero Jr. Peter Cadges of Boston Phoenix. Enjoy the mayor tonight, boys. We'll see if he takes you in on your shoe-in line, Cosmo.